And one of the things that fatigue does to a human life, it increases their doubt about making decisions. Another characteristic that we see is that they tend to procrastinate. They're not motivated to move forward. They're stuck in what business used to be. It takes him longer to make decisions. Even if he makes a decision, he comes back because he starts doubting himself.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another Knowledge Bomb episode of Lead to Greatness, where we believe in helping others reach their greatest potential and together change the world. Today on Lead to Greatness, we have Richard Flint. And if this is your first time, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button, hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of these amazing episodes. And if you're on iTunes, go ahead and rate the podcast and leave a review. That helps get the word out to great leaders and entrepreneurs like yourself. Please help me welcome Richard with Overcoming Leadership Fatigue. This is Cedric Francis, and you're listening to Lead to Greatness.
Cedric, once again, I am honored to be back with you. I had so much fun the last time that we talked.
Yes, sir.
I've been on the international lecture circuit for, I can't believe it's been this, Cedric, but I've been there for 34 years.
Wow.
And I have had the unique opportunities to speak all over the world. And when I started this journey, I made a promise to myself. I made a promise to anyone that I would touch their life in any of the formats that I use to create my presence.
Yeah.
And I promised three things: that anytime I could touch a human life in any form, I would help them to understand what it means to be better, not to be the best. I don't ever want people to be the best. I mentor a lot of people and they keep telling me, I want to be the best at what I do. And I tell them no, because when you become the best, you then become a historical relic. We don't want that. We want to be best because best is about improving.
Yeah.
And then the second thing I want them to do is I want them to strengthen their foundation. There are only two foundations that a human can stand on in their life: belief, trust, and faith in their self, which is being challenged today. And then is doubt, worry, and uncertainty, which is where I find the fatigue coming in today. And I want people to be able to strengthen themselves from the inside out. And then I want people to understand what it means to have a positive presence that is present when you're not present. Because that's the key to a successful life, is being able to create that positive presence, because that attracts people to you. We live in a world that is being pulled more and more negative.
Absolutely.
And it's hard to find the positive today, because it's almost like emotionally we're being overwhelmed. And when we become overwhelmed, we lose that focus and we lose that individuality. And so my mission has been to help people have the life that they were put on this earth to have. And what I find today is that there is one word that is captivating people today. It's uncertainty. Everywhere you turn, things are uncertain. So how do you trust when uncertainty is there? What do you believe in uncertainty? Who do you go to? Who do you respect? Who do you reach out to when there's that uncertainty all around you? And it's almost like in the world of business today, leaders are having to become loners in order to really stay within their self, because we're being bombarded today with negative. And I'm hoping that what we can do today in our time together is that we can help strengthen that foundation of those people who come to you and they look to you to put people in front of them that can offer them not answers, because if I give Cedric answers, it's not you, it's me. But we can help people today find the guidance they need to strengthen the belief, the trust, and the faith that they have in their self.
Here's the thing: you may have someone, they may be feeling unmotivated and things like that, and they have no clue what's going on with them. I want you to kind of touch on some signs that there may be an individual suffering from leadership fatigue.
The thing that I'm hearing today, in fact, I had the conversation early this morning. One of the leaders that I am their mentor. I don't coach people.
Mm.
I mentor people. But what we talked about this morning, and he's the one that brought it up, and his words were, "I'm tired."
Mm.
And he was telling me, I used to have so much energy. I used to know exactly what I was going to do. And I used to be in love with my company and every day. He says today, he said, I got up last week. I drove to my company. I parked in front of the doors to my company and I sat in my truck. And the conversation I had with myself is, I don't know if I want to go in today or not.
Wow.
People can be present without being present.
Mm.
Right before you and I came on the air, I was in conversation with a young lady that's worked with the company for 15 years. And she said to me, I no longer enjoy working here.
Mm.
She said, the owner of this company used to be so positive and so energetic, and it was a fun place to work because positive energy creates positive energy.
Yeah.
And she said, he's changed, that he's more emotional than he's ever been. It takes him longer to make decisions.
Mm.
Even if he makes a decision, he comes back because he starts doubting himself.
Wow.
And one of the things that fatigue does to a human life, it increases their doubt about making decisions.
Mm.
Another characteristic that we see is that they tend to procrastinate. They're not motivated to move forward. They're stuck in what business used to be. Let me just put this out here. The biggest thing that I see with people who are suffering from fatigue today, the 3 Ds that they need for strength have been weakened.
Mm.
Desire. You and I know how important desire is. So do your listeners.
Absolutely.
That desire is the food that my soul feeds off of.
Yes. Yes.
Because desire is where I look for the more in my life.
Mm.
Desire is where I don't want to live in a circle of sameness, but I want to have the freedom to reach for the horizon.
Yeah.
And if I lose my desire, it puts a hole in my commitment and my focus.
Mm.
And then the second D that I find that's really causing struggle today is if I don't have desire, it weakens my determination. And I don't know about you, but I am a very determined person. See if this makes sense, Cedric. There are 2 levels of commitment. There's commitment with words, which can be controlled by doubt.
Mm.
And then there's commitment with conviction that is controlled by belief.
Yes.
And what I'm seeing today is the commitment with words, not conviction. And the byproduct of that is an increase in people's procrastination. Mm. And I walk into so many companies, I deal with so many leaders. And when you look around their life, you see all these things that need attention, but they're avoiding them. Mm. Why? Because they don't have the desire to challenge them. They don't have the determination that says, I know that life is not always going to be easy, but I am determined because I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. Mm. And I'm going to make sure that I'm feeding that desire. Yeah. But here's the thing. When I weaken desire and determination, I lose my discipline. Mm. And without discipline, you know what happens. Things just fall apart. Yeah. I'm watching so many people today start and then stop. I'm watching so many people in business today living with incompleteness. Jeez. Because they're hiding in yesterday, because it takes so much energy to be a leader. Yeah. And when you're exhausted, you procrastinate, you avoid, you make excuses, you blame. My goodness. Because I know there's somebody asking right now, saying, Richard, everything you just said, too, this is not how I used to be, but this is where I am right now. Richard, what do I do about it? Well, Cedric, I'm going to answer that in 2 ways. Okay. I think, first of all, you got to step back. What I have found is that when my desire is weak, my determination is faltering, and I'm lacking the discipline, I need to step outside myself, and I need to ask myself 4 very, very, very important questions. is this really what I want to do with my life? I think if COVID did one thing, it caused people to have to look at themselves in a different way on all fronts. And a lot of people had a job. They didn't have a purpose with commitment.
Mm.
And all of a sudden they realized, I'm not having fun doing this. Why? Because everything was so out of control that their pace became overwhelming. Pace is so important because pace determines whether you're going to live from your emotions up or your mind down. What I'm finding today is that most people are living from their emotions up. So what are they doing? They're reacting to everything that happens in their life. So is this really what I want to do with my life? And if you can't answer that question, you're stuck. And then the second of the 4 questions, why do I really want to do this? What's my purpose? And those are the 2 personal questions. And then the third question really hits at the heart of commitment. What price am I willing to pay today to have the success I want?
Wow.
And, I've been there, and I would bet money you've been there, where you've had times when you've asked yourself, is this really what I want to do? Because the more you want to achieve in your life, the more demanding it becomes. And the only time that the demands of leadership become overwhelming is when your pace is out of control.
Jeez.
And I'll tell you something, because I'm hearing it every day as I talk to people. When my pace is out of control, I'm not focused. And you and I know how important focus is.
Absolutely.
The opposite of focus is staring. What is staring? It's procrastinating. It's avoiding. So what price am I willing to pay? Because in many ways, when I'm fatigued, the price is always going to be too big.
Yeah.
That's why I got to have that strong foundation of desire, determination, and discipline, because those are the 3 pillars that hold us up when we're going through the tough times. And then the 4th question is really the big one. What behaviors will I have to improve to get me back? And see, this is where I'm working with people today, Cedric. This is my crusade with leaders today. And we're really working on those 4 questions. And when you put all of those questions together, you come to the one question that I think either creates confusion or clarity. And that question is this: is the decision I'm about to make going to feed my confusion or strengthen my clarity? And here's the interesting thing. Give me 10 people, put that question in front of them, and 7 will choose confusion. They'll make the decision for confusion because it gives them an escape route. And I don't know if you've ever been there, but I have. When I'm fatigued, when I'm tired, when I'm exhausted, it is hard for me to make decisions, especially if I know I'm going to have to look at my life from the inside out and realize that I'm exactly in my life where I want to be right now. And the other thing people have to realize, you don't do anything in your life without giving yourself permission to do it. This is what's causing so much of the fatigue today. We've lost our way. And I'll tell you the other thing that's happening too, that's wearing people out, is that we used to have a philosophy here that said people first, product second, profit third. We've lost it.
Lost it, yes.
Today it's profit first, product second,
people last,
and people third.
Yeah.
I talked to a young lady yesterday, and she was telling me, I don't like working here anymore because people are a tool that are being used. They used to respect us, and they used to treat us like we were valuable. But today, they want to eliminate people, but keep the same volume of work there. And we've lost the healthy definition to leadership. When you look at the word leader in a positive way, creates a leader. First of all, they listen. And I think listening has become a lost art, Cedric.
Yeah.
I think people hear today, they don't listen. And how much confusion is created when someone doesn't listen? And the leader has to listen. And what are they listening for? They're listening for ways that they can improve through the most valuable asset they have, and that's their people. Yes. And what I see is that too many leaders don't understand the difference between person and personality. Person is what I see. Personality is what I work with. I'm having more demands today for a program that I wrote a few years ago entitled A Day at the Zoo. And it's a comparative study of 18 animals and their personalities to the people you have to work with each day and how to become a zookeeper.
Wow.
It's understanding a person comes to work, a personality does the work. And also that there are no difficult people. Difficult only occurs when the leader isn't willing to invest the time and the energy in their people to get to know their value.
My goodness.
There are no difficult people. They're just different personalities. But you know what? That takes time. And what happens if I'm tired, I'm fatigued, I'm exhausted? I'm not going to feel I have that time. Why? Because every time I turn around, there's something else staring me in the face that needs my attention. And leaders then also, they enable their people. A young lady that I was visiting with went to work for this company, and she'd never really done that type of job before. And she was just lost in her first week of the company. And she asked her manager, I need some help. Here are some of the things I don't understand that I need to understand in order to do my job. And the manager just looked at her and said, I don't have time to train you. And then leaders also have to have strength with 3 A's. First of all, they've got to know where their company needs to adapt. And this again is something I'm seeing today, that they're trying to live in a yesterday that doesn't fit into today. And they're not adapting.
Yeah.
And then the second A is once I know where I need to adapt, then I got to make adjustments. And I don't know if you'll agree with me here or not, but it's what I see. Making adjustments is much tougher than knowing where to adapt. I can come to you and say, Cedric, man, here's where we need to adapt. We're out of sync here. And here are the adjustments that we're going to have to make. And I've seen this. I've seen the look in the face. It's total fear.
Yeah.
One guy says, you're telling me I got to go back to work. I said, yes, if you're going to have a company that's growing, you got to go back to work. And then the third A you have to have as a leader, you have to be able to align the newness in the behavior of your people. It's not coming to you and go, okay, Cedric, this is the way we're going to do things now. And I don't give you the why. And then a leader is also one that directs with clarity. Confusion in a company is the result of a lack of leadership. Yeah. Things are not addressed when they're a concern, so they're allowed to become a problem. I hope your leaders understand this, that I can resolve anything when it's a concern, because at that point, it's mind down. Yeah. I'm looking for a solution. But when it becomes a problem, there's not a solution because I'm looking at it from emotions up.
Jeez.
And then the leader has to create an environment that's healthy. One of my statements that I make to people who own companies is that you got to close the orphanage. You got to stop keeping people that don't fit. And you can't try to force people to become what they're not willing to become.
Wow.
So you got to close the orphanage. And I hear this all the time. Richard, it's hard enough today to find people just to work. And now you're telling me I need to look at people, and some of them I need to let go. And I go, yes, because if you don't let them go, the people you need to keep will stop supporting you.
Jeez.
And then finally, a leader is one who respects and rewards their people. That's some pretty heavy stuff, isn't it?
Oh, my goodness.
What we've got to do, Cedric, is we've got to bring leaders back to where they're leading with leadership. Yeah. Too many times today, the leader is not a leader. They're a participant in the confusion. They're a participant in the conflict. And I see this so much in the small to average size companies today. The groups that I'm having the most fun with are the groups who realize I've lost my way. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm overwhelmed. And I need to get back in sync. So I have spent the last 5 years using the 32 years that I've been out there and going back and researching and talking to people who own companies, people who are entrepreneurs. Yeah. And what I've done is I've created a program called Success House. And it's an 8-module, 16-week program where what I do is we take a company apart, we take leadership apart, and we lay a different foundation. And it all starts with laying that foundation that says, I believe in me. I know this is the purpose that God has for my life.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm supposed to be.
Mm.
And I'm going to believe this. And then I'm going to trust that with the right mindset and with the right resources, people around my life, I can build that inner trust. You ever had a time in your life, Cedric, when you lost trust in yourself?
Absolutely. Yeah.
What happened to you?
I was really confused and stuck, really stuck. Didn't know where to go.
Did you find yourself procrastinating, disorganized?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lack of
every
motivation,
day.
lost vision. Everything looks
Yeah.
blurry. Yeah.
During that time, did you question yourself about what you were doing with your life?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I questioned what I was doing. I questioned was I the one for the job? I questioned was I making the mistake? I questioned is it supposed to be somebody else in the place of me? I questioned, oh my goodness. I went down the rabbit hole of questioning.
And
Yeah,
it was lucky you found a ladder to get out, right?
absolutely.
And how important is it, do you think, that when we're down that rabbit hole, that we have a system or a process around our life that takes us back to center?
It's everything. Because I was just going to say, so for me, it was support system, and it really started in my house with my wife. We have a great relationship. We can talk. I run a lot. I run almost everything by her. I mean, she know me more than anybody else, and she's that support system, that community. It starts with her. I mean, it's bigger than that, but I mean, it really. I mean, she's the next to the foundation besides God. Yeah.
Yeah, and she can ask you some pretty honest questions, can't
Yeah,
she?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
And sometimes uncomfortable questions.
absolutely.
That's part of our Success House program,
Yeah.
is that the second module is about creating a sense of harmony between the rooms of your life.
Mm,
You have a business room, that's your number one room of mental stress.
yeah,
And when you're mentally stressed, are you a different personality?
absolutely. Kind of linger in that negative space instead of being positive.
Yeah, and because in that particular realm of life, you have to force yourself to be light
Yeah, yeah.
when you'd rather be darkness.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah, and then
that's right.
there's the second room, which is our family room. That's the number one room of emotional stress today. What I'm finding is that so many people who are in business today, and the business just seems to be out of control, is that they take that and they go home with it. And it's like one guy told me, because his wife owns a company, and he said, when she used to walk in the door, she'd give me a hug and we'd talk about her day, and it was positive. Now, when she comes in, she doesn't want me to touch her and she just wants to be alone.
Mm,
She is just overwhelmed from her day.
yeah,
And, it sounds like that you and your wife, you have a great relationship where you
absolutely.
can talk about things.
Yeah,
That is not what it used to be today because of the mental stress going on in the business room. And we take it home with us and it becomes emotional. And then the third room that people have is a social room. And that's where you go to laugh. And I don't see a lot of laughter today, Cedric. I don't see a lot of life in people's eyes today. When I'm flying places, I always have an aisle seat. And I love to watch people get on the plane. I look them in the eyes, and I'm going to tell you, the majority of them, their eyes are dead today.
yeah,
There's no light. Why? Because life is taking more than is being replenished.
yeah.
And we got to get back to finding the light switch
Mm,
where we can have fun.
yeah.
One guy said to me, "Fun? What's that?"
Yeah,
He said, "I don't have time for fun." He said, "I've just got too many things to take care of right now."
it's insane.
And the fourth room is the room that is causing all of this upheaval in the other rooms, and that's your personal room.
Mm,
And people ask me all the time, what about a spiritual room? That's my personal room.
yeah,
And in my personal room, alone with me, no one else can be there with me. That's where my dreams are born. That's where I fill my bucket. It's where I'm creative. It's where I am in control of my life rather than my life controlling me. And one of the things I'm trying to get people to understand today, stop. Talk about balancing your life. There is no such thing as balance in life. You don't want balance. What you want to find is harmony. And harmony is where I am connected with purpose, agenda, and commitment. And I got to do that in every room of my life. Because I think what's happening is that because of the uncertainty that's creating the fatigue that is wearing people down, we're disconnecting more than we're connecting. And that disconnect is happening on every front. I am finding people who own business today disconnected from their people because they're tired, they're fatigued.
Yeah.
I find that going into their homes where there is not that sense of connection because you're bringing your tired self home. And my goodness, why would I want to go out and laugh when I'm feeling all of this disappointment, this fatigue, this frustration? So you think I want to be alone with me? And Cedric, this is why I have worked so diligently to build this success house and help people to get back to being in control. I'm concerned today about what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about the fatigue, the tiredness. You know, for your listeners, I may be one of the few people you'll ever meet in your life that actually understands you from the inside out. This is what I find with most people who coach, is that they're coached from the outside in. But when I work with people, I mentor from the inside out. And I get asked all the time, what percentage of people do you think would ever come toward you and ask you to be a mentor? 2%. I think only 2% of people are honest about wanting to improve their life. You know something I learned in the counseling room, Cedric? Most people want honesty as long as it's not honest.
Oh, that's true.
This one man told me one time, Cedric, he said, I'd give anything in the world to work with you. But he says, I won't do it because I know you're going to want me to be honest about myself. And I told him, thank you for saying that because I don't want to work with you. I interview every person who I allow into my life because if we're not a right fit and if you're not serious about what you want to do with your life, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to wear you out. And I'll tell you something else. You're going to wear me down.
Oh, man. This is so good. That there is hope for each and every one of us, each and every leader getting the help you need, connecting with the right people, connecting with the right resources. And I want to transition. And I know, Richard, there's a lot of individuals right now that want to hear more about you and what you're doing, ways they can connect with you. So, Richard, I want to ask you this. If someone wants to connect with you and what you're doing, where should they go?
Okay, I'm going to take you in a couple of different directions, Cedric, because of what we're doing. I'm starting on April 20th, something I've wanted to do for 5 years. I'm going to spend 6 months studying the stories that Jesus told, the parables. And we're going to take 6 parables and we're going to take those and take them from the setting where Jesus was and translate the message he was saying into a modern day of living. Like we're going to talk about the sower and the seed. And topic there, where are you planting your life? The prodigal son, lost and found, the good Samaritan. Who is your neighbor? And it's on my website, richardflint.com/live. And then I'm doing a series of small group retreats now. I stopped doing my one major conference a year after 30 years of doing it. And I'm doing a series of small group retreats now that's limited to 15 people. And it's the most in-depth thing that we are doing. And then every Friday morning, Cedric, at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, we have an open mic for 90 minutes where the mics are open and we talk about a question, and then people can just ask questions or talk about their life to share with the other people. And that's just richardflint.com/discussion and my Success House program. And that's Success House richardflint.co, not C-O-M, but C-O. And this is my leadership program that I have been working on for 5 years, and we have released it now. 8 modules, 16 weeks. I mean, a big part of it is one-on-one, where you get me personally. And my website is real simple. It's richardflint.com. And one more thing, Cedric, and I don't do this very often. If we've raised questions in anyone's mind about things in their life, and you'd like just a set of ears, reach out to me, richard@richardflint.com, and let's schedule a time to talk. I'll give you 30 minutes of my life, no charge to it, and let's talk. People need someone to listen to them today, Cedric. People are lost within their self because they don't have people who care. They surround themselves with people who want to use them. And we need to get back to caring.
Lead to Greatness. You heard the information, all the resources that you can go to connect with Richard and what he is doing. On behalf of the Lead to Greatness community, Richard, I want to thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy schedule and adding value to us all.
Cedric, I'd come back and talk with you anytime. I like who you are. I like your spirit.
We want to thank you for joining us today on the Lead to Greatness podcast. So remember, if you help others reach their greatest potential, together we can change the world. Peace.